Welcome to 80s Happy Hour, the show that celebrates nostalgia, that brings us together in the most challenging of times, the show that makes grown men want to return to their youth, and anyone else not raised in the 80s weep, right? Is that the culmination of 80s Happy Hour to you? It is to me. Hey, what's up? Kathleen's on here. How you doing? There she is. And Cindy, hey, thank you so much. I love it. You guys rock. All right, so first of all, I'm John, aka that 80s dude, and I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I know you have a lot of other options. I mean, Spider-Man was just came out. There's Thursday Night Football, but 80s Happy Hour is where it's at. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? I know you're waving at me. I love it. Thank you. So here's the deal. I just got a whole bunch of messages right before coming on the show. And people were saying, hey, John, why would you run 80s Happy Hour on Thursday night, the night that Spider-Man, and I can't keep up with him, I think it's No Way Home or something, just came out. And my response to that is, when was it that they started doing this release on Wednesdays and Thursdays, right? What happened to Friday releasing of movies, okay? So it's not my fault, you guys. I just had to schedule it on the best day that worked for me and worked for my buddy Matt. All right. So that being said, I got one more thing to kick off the show. I want to say Merry New Year, all right? I hope you brought the beef jerky. And you're only going to get this if you know the reference, okay? If you know the reference, Merry New Year, where's the beef jerky? Drop it in the comments, all right? That's your first trivia. All right. If you say it first, I'm going to call you out on the show. I'll go ahead and give you a shout out, all right? All right, so let me just start with what we're going to do today. First of all, we're going to be talking Christmas nostalgia, 80s, 90s TV specials that we loved from the 80s and 90s. StaticRerun's going to be on the show. So one of the first things you need to do as soon as the show's over is make sure you give him a follow at StaticRerun. And then we're going to show off, we're going to talk about some must-watch films on VHS. We brought out our VHS tapes here to share with you, sort of a show and tell segment. And we're going to be doing a giveaway. So you're going to have to wait till the end of the show to see who won. There's 3 winners, all right? And so you want to make sure that you're on here to find out who won and if you may have won, okay? So if you're not on here, it's gonna be terrible, right? We won't be as excited. All right, so snap into a Slim Jim. All right, nobody's getting the Merry New Year, where's the beef jerky reference, all right? I'm going to give you guys another 30 seconds while I talk. Merry New Year, where's the beef jerky? Okay? All right. Now, right off the bat, I want to thank, and I want to give a couple shout outs to a couple guys I really respect and I'm glad are my friends. I made friends on here with, and that's, these guys shared the 80s Happy Hour with their audience, and I really appreciate that, and I want to give them some love. Trading Places, that's right, Kathleen, she got it, right? Rising Emu, she got it. It is from Trading Places. Okay, at the end, Eddie Murphy is wearing the, African garb, and he's inside the trolley car, right? And he goes, Merry New Year. Remember that? All right. I'm getting some love. All right, thank you. All right, so I want to thank these 2 guys. First, I want to thank Mars. He's from VHS Toys, so make sure you give him a follow, VHS_toys. And I also want to thank my buddy Scorch, from Blown Opportunities. That's Blown_opportunities. Make sure you follow them. They're awesome. And they're good friends, and I really appreciate that. They were sharing the 80s Happy Hour with their folks. So, you know what? Come to think of it, Mars and Scorch, that sound like 2 characters from like a rad 80s cartoon, right? Mars and Scorch. Okay. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for sharing the show with your friends. I really appreciate it. All right. Let's start with the first segment of the show, okay? I want to talk about the holidays and what they mean to us as 80s kids and, growing up in the 80s and the 90s. And I want to tell you that, a lot has changed, but I think the things that stand out to me before I bring StaticRerun on the show is, so many things have changed today. I feel like I'm hanging on to dear life to nostalgia from back in the day, and I don't know if you are, but I certainly am. All right. Hey, $2 late fee. How you guys doing? Good to see you on here. One of the things that I miss, and give me some love, give me some hearts if you agree, the Christmas ornaments are different, right? I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would decorate the tree and she'd involve us, and we would have like these cloth Christmas ornaments, or that like had like the protrusions on there. They would poke us on the fingers, in the hands, and we would have these massive like tree toppers, and just the whole experience is completely different for me. The food was crazy, right? During the holidays back in the 80s. I mean, we had these terrines, we had these crazy Jello mashups that my mom would make. And I mean, it was ridiculous. The food was so much better. I feel like the food tasted better in the 80s, right? I mean, I don't care if my mom could take Spam. She could take loads of Spam, put Jello on top with like beans, and I would eat it, and it still tasted amazing, right? It's just not the same today. The hams don't taste as good. Maybe because I'm just so nostalgic, and I love my youth so much that I miss the holidays. Back when we were growing up. And let me know if you feel the same. That's right, the silky ball ornaments. That's right, Cindy. I love that. Those are absolute classics. All right. So listen, that's my spiel. That's my monologue to start things off. We're going to talk about holidays today and some of the things we loved. Let's see, $2 late fee says, mozzarella sticks were definitely better then. Oh, absolutely they were. Oh man, that's awesome. I love it. All right. First of all, I'm going to bring StaticRerun here. Matt, my buddy, has an awesome page. You guys got to check it out. He's going to be my guest today. We're just going to, have a good time on here. You guys are going to get to know him. We're just going to be two buddies on here talking nostalgia, looking at the past. And so you guys make sure that you're involved and ask questions anytime, and we'll go ahead and shoot that over to Matt or myself. All right. So let me kind of give you a little background. I found StaticRerun. I found Matt's page a few months ago, and I really fell in love with it. And I knew right away that Matt's page was unique. If you haven't seen his page, when you check it out, you'll know what I'm talking about. But he has these elaborate displays that he puts up in front of a TV, and they have so much nostalgia sort of like pumped into a single image that I just knew that, the talent and the hard work that goes behind it, I wanted to show it off and share it with my friends, all right? Let's see, because we're the Gen Xers, the best time to be a kid. Absolutely, Lisa. I totally agree with you, 100%. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get you on. Retro Boy Toy says, awesome page, Matt. Let's get Matt on here for just a minute and we'll chat. Hey!
How's it going, man?
What's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you, man. I love those glasses. Put them back on for a second.
Put them back on?
Yeah.
It's like your trademark, man. I was surprised to see you not have them on.
I know. Oh, I love it. Look at those things, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. I love that you coming on with the glasses on. I normally wear sunglasses, but I was on the show with I had Claudia Wells on the show a couple months ago, from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And then she's like, John, I can't see your eyes. Take off your glasses. So I was like, maybe I should not wear my glasses when I'm going live. Maybe when I'm doing my live show. Yeah, exactly. So you got to be able to see my eyes and look into my soul, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, I'm so glad you're on here. And I want the audience, my audience, your audience, to get to know you and get to kind of hear about your story. The big thing is, I caught your page a few months ago, and I think I sent you a message, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And I just said, hey, awesome page, dude. You're going to kill it. You may have come on just sort of like I was scrolling maybe in my happy hour one time, and you made a comment. And I was like, StaticRerun, that page is going to be huge. Yeah, and I still feel that way. And I just want to tell you right now, since we have the audience on, I love your page. It is one of my favorite pages on Instagram. And believe me, I've seen a lot of pages on Instagram. Yours is special, and I just want to thank you for making the time to come on and share your story with me. So tell us about your page. Tell us why you created it. Tell us a little bit about who StaticRerun is, who Matt is. Go ahead.
Yeah, buddy. No. First and foremost, it's absolute pleasure being here. When you were talking about the live stream, and I think you were with I Had That.
Okay, yeah.
And, that meant so much to me that I saved that video. It's still on my phone. Every once in a while I catch it because you're a pillar for this community.
Oh, thank
you,
man.
I really appreciate you. And I appreciate your opinion, and I appreciate everything you give back to this community. So
I appreciate that, Matt. It means a lot to me. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So a little bit about me. I started my page. It was back in April, actually. I haven't been doing this very long. It was just kind of on a whim. my buddy Rocco the Great, he has, YouTube. He's a influencer on here as well. He just kind of, he's always encouraged me. I've known him for a couple years now. And, he knew I was a collector, and he just kind of pushed me forward, said, hey, get rid of the personal stuff. Just post your stuff. So I just started, kind of just playing around with stuff. And it was really basic at first. And, it just kind of built and built and built and built. And, I've always been kind of into like stage design and stuff. I led the stage design with my church for a very long time.
Awesome.
I've always been into prop making, that kind of thing. Just kind of creating little worlds and, just using my imagination.
That's
and
rad.
That's kind of how this came all about.
That's awesome. So just since April, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And right now, I think you're sitting at what is it, like 3,500 followers?
Just under 32, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, you should be at 150,000 followers, and we're gonna do our best as a community to get you there. And I know, with Instagram, it's a little it's a little bit of a strange place over the course of the year. I started in May. On May 30th, actually, June 14th, May 30th, I had my fourth son of last year. And that's when I decided I was going to start doing everything on Instagram as a nostalgia / sort of sharing my personal story page.
Right.
And I'm so glad a lot of people are jumping in and doing that like you are, because there's so many people who have a great story to tell from those great days, the 80s and 90s. And this is a great platform to do it.
I agree.
And for me, I always made it, I thought to myself, okay, look, once I hit 10,000 followers, I'm going to start reaching out to a lot of other pages and start making some really great relationships. And I've always wanted to do a live show.
Yeah.
So for me, I think what that 80s dude is, what I really love about my page is I get to connect with someone like you and make a friend. I was just talking to my son over dinner tonight, an early dinner. I said, what happened after the iPhone came out is a lot of people feel like social media connected everyone, but really it was just very superficial connecting.
Yeah.
And what I want to do, and what I love about doing 80s Happy Hour and bringing you on the show, for example, is we get to be a little bit more interpersonal and see one another, and then the audience and our friends that are following us or that we're communicating with get to see us on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that said, since April, congratulations, my friend. Amazing page. And by the way, I got to tell you and let the audience know, you guys, StaticRerun, Matt, you can tell he's got a designer eye, because the way you lay out everything on your table, I think you're putting it on a table. I think I saw like a sort of behind the scenes that you did. If you haven't seen the behind the scenes post that Matt did like about 3 or 4 weeks ago,
it's in my reels. You can find it.
It's in the reels. Go check out his reels. It's fantastic. I'm like, okay, I sort of put some thought into my posts, obviously, some more than others, but the level of detail that you put into it, because you've got so much nostalgia piled up onto the page, is just is sheer joy. I love what you've been doing with your Christmas, the whole month of Christmas. You've been doing every single day. You've been posting some sort of holiday Christmas nostalgia, which is amazing. So tell us, I got some questions in my DMs, people sliding up in my DMs and asking me, they're like, how long does it take to typically set up one of your posts?
Right. So I do all my posts on Sundays. That's my downtime. I have a big TV on the wall. I can just like in front of or above my old TV that I watch, that I post in front of, and I watch football and just, do posts. So I take my photos. It takes me probably, if I'm really focused and I kind of have like an idea what I want to do. Christmas is a little easier because it's a theme.
Sure.
It takes me, I don't know, about 15 minutes per set.
That's pretty good. I was thinking, thinking it's got to take an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to do one of those posts.
I mean, if I'm not focused, that's how long it takes.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to get it done because I don't want to be stressed out about it. I don't want to think about it. You know what I mean? I just want to build it and have fun with it. Yeah. So I usually find just one object and just kind of build off that object.
That's awesome, man. And like you said, I think the main thing here is that you got to have fun with it, right? Because I think after doing this for a while, it's like I always tell myself I never want to get in a situation where I'm not having fun or loving my audience, right? Or loving everybody who's connecting with me, this community. And once I think you put that into perspective, and I don't care if some posts, like I did a post for Me Trapper Keepers lately. It was a sponsored post, and it took me about 3 hours. I timed it.
and it was just for a 1-minute video.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get some things right and everything like that. And I had my son involved. But if you're not loving what you do, there's no way you're going to put 3 hours worth of work into
Absolutely,
it. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the thing is like, you know, because I do commercials too, and I kind of adjusted, and I do 2 sets now, so it takes a little longer.
Sure.
With the TV set, you know, that's pretty easy because I have all the stuff. I already know what's going to go in there.
Yeah.
But the commercials, I have to find those commercials. I have to edit them, and I have to put them on Photoshop and put them behind the TV, that kind of thing. So, you know, that's honestly, that takes more time than building.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me say something about that. To anyone that's watching, you know, I get a lot of questions. Some people ask me like, what are you using? How do you do that? Or how do you create this? And that sort of thing. And I just want to share, I think when people are watching us, I do want to throw a little of those tidbits out so they get a little bit of like, a look in our world, right? And so one of the things with the commercials that I can appreciate with you is that I remember when you would post about, you know, several slides or in a carousel, but all your commercials were in 4:5 format. And so some stuff was cut off, right? But I noticed once you added the TV, now you've got to go in, you've got to edit the ratio, and then you've got to fit it inside of the television. You know what I mean? And then each shot. This is the amazing part. For those of you that are watching, this is the kind of work Matt does. Okay, this is how much he loves you. Okay.
Yeah. It's true.
You've got to change that. You've got to crop, change the ratio. Then you've got to fit it correctly inside of your television, right? Which may have a slightly different ratio, right? Yeah. And then obviously you've got to edit the clip. So you know, you can tell it's a labor of love, and thank you for doing that, because I got to tell you, I flipped through all your carousels.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. And I mean, I use about 6 apps, like 6 different programs, I guess. Not really apps, but programs to just build those.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And so thank you. Yeah, I thank you on behalf of everybody, because like Cindy just said, your posts are amazing. And I think, and for me, I definitely flip through all the carousels, which is really fun, because, you know, a lot of my posts are from the 80s. Yeah. I try to sprinkle in a 90s post from time to time, but I obviously have to be wary, because I don't want to confuse a ton of folks who come into that 80s dude and they're expecting 80s.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
But I think that I love seeing your page, because you do mix in quite a bit of 90s in there, which is really fun to see. But since we're on the topic, for those of you watching, I'm going to mix in a little bit more 90s stuff in the new year. All right, that's it. I'm breaking out of my shell. I'm going to put a little 90s in there. All right.
Well, I mean, early 90s is basically 80s, right? I mean,
exactly. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you. And just like, you know, early 80s is late 70s, right? I mean, we love Three's Company and shows like that. They were transplants from the 70s.
Well, and I think that's what's great about our age group. I mean, you're a little older than me. You know, weren't you born in the 70s?
I was born in 76.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I feel like we hit like such a good run of decades, you know, like the late 70s, you know, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s. They were pretty great, you know. So we were blessed to hit those decades when, you know.
100%. I think, to me, if I could take, we're gonna dive in a little bit into the 90s here, but if I could take a year that totally ended all happiness, is when the comic book industry imploded in 1996. I feel like after 96, things changed. Okay. Hey, Finger Kingdom goes, best hair in the game.
Thanks, Manny. He's my buddy. Yeah, he's a good guy too.
That's great. Hey, who's that? Lisa. Lisa was born in 69. Sheesh, I'm old. No, Lisa, you're not old, girl. Hey, whoever said that, check out my hair. All right. Before you say that. All right. So let's talk about, I asked you before we got on the show, I'd asked you what your favorite year was, and you said 1992. Let's talk about that before we get into the Christmas stuff. Yeah. So tell me why 1992. Can you share a little bit about that with me? I mean, give me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So 92, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just implanted in my brain. It was right before I turned 10. 10 was like a big deal to me when I was a kid. Like, I actually didn't want to turn 10. I didn't want to grow up. You know, early on in life, we kind of had a hard life, you know, me and my brothers and sister, just for whatever reasons. I won't get into details.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Central Illinois.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm originally from. I live there now. I moved away and then came back. We had a wonderful life, but early on it was, you know, it was a little rocky. So, sure. But and by that time I was like, I was old in my heart, and I was like, I don't want to grow up. I'm not ready to grow up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So 10 was like a big deal to me. But so many good things I felt like came out in '92, and like there's so
Ric
many
Flair,
good memories.
Ric Flair won the your buddy said that Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble. That's awesome.
And I was big into wrestling at that time too. And you know, like Home Alone 2, I just for whatever reason and it's probably because it was, you know, it was a big movie that I saw in theaters at that age. But it just, I don't know, it's just implanted in my brain and my heart. I felt young at that time. I felt like, oh, this is, you know, I'm still a kid.
That's right.
So,
at 10 years old, 10 years old, you're definitely still a kid. I was 15 in '92.
Yeah.
So I was in high school. I think I was a freshman or a junior or a sophomore. But I do remember '92 because I feel like by the time, almost when I became a junior or maybe a senior, is when the youth starts to sort of fade a lot and you start to do more of the mature stuff and things like that. Yeah. But the Good Day brand says, "Hi, Matt." And Retro Boy Toy says, I used that Static Rerun pose as my phone wallpaper for Halloween. Awesome.
You told me that. Yeah.
That's rad. That, man. I love that. Hey, by the way, audience, anybody who's joining us right now, I'm talking to Matt at Static Rerun. And please give him a follow. We're having a lot of fun. We're just rolling into our Christmas segment in just a bit. We're just chatting about 1992. So Matt, I almost called you Matty because everybody has everybody that I've had as friend of Matt, I go Matty. So 1992. Let me tell you what I remember. Guns N' Roses, they performed a hit song, November Rain. Right? They did it. It was in Columbia, I think. And then when they started to play, I remember everybody was totally like, it was all over the news, even though there wasn't social media. But it started raining when they were playing November Rain, and then the rain stopped after they stopped playing the song. Okay,
I don't remember that, but I know that reference.
Yeah, well, there was some magic. Certainly. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, look at this. Cindy says, "Truly outrageous '80s." One of my other favorite accounts. Cartoon Network launched in 1992. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the other thing too is Mortal Kombat. It was the first game to get that rating from the from Entertainment Software rating for the mature rating, right? Okay. McDonald's, it sold a burger called the McJordan. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, and then there was I think Nickelodeon in 1992. It sealed its capsule, and I don't think it's opening until like 2042. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we still, I think they put a Game Boy in there, some Reebok pumps, Twinkies. They put a Home Alone VHS. Yeah. So I mean, 1992, man, this is like awesome stuff, right? Yeah. Now there was one bad thing that happened in '92. I gotta tell you, it's one of the most memorable bad things for me. Is MTV? It aired its first episode of The Real World, right? It destroyed music forever.
It destroyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still haven't recovered fully, to be honest. Okay, but anyway, this is a little flashback of 1992. I thought I'd share from what I recall, and it was good times for sure. I think '92 comics, baseball cards were still hot. I was still going to the baseball card shop. I was going to the comic book store. Let's talk Christmas because that's what we're here for. We want to talk. We want to make a Christmas theme. Because let's talk about what played real quick since we're on. I'm going to tie it in tonight. Check out this transition. Okay, in 1992. A Charlie Brown Christmas aired on TV. I mean, Charlie Brown Christmas, that's from a long time ago, right? Yeah. From the 60s, I think. And a Garfield Christmas special. Then we had the Teddy Bears Christmas. Yeah. And then Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This was all in 1992 during December. So I want to just say, as we're transitioning, that goes to show you how much of an impact the 80s and the 70s even had on the 90s, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one of the things I love about your name, Static Rerun, is we were watching reruns like pretty much our whole time, when we were growing up. Even in the 80s, we were watching reruns of 70s shows. And
it was all about the reruns. Because absolutely. We didn't have cable, so it was all, it was all regular, local TV.
Two to three networks maybe. And,
yeah. And that's that's if you could get them in, like
exactly. And I mean, we did get a black box, I think, around 1989, 1990, or something like that. But we got one from like a relative, and it was like the greatest joy of my life. Yeah. But anyway, Christmas specials that we loved back in the day. Yeah. All right. Yep. So what I want to do is I want the audience to get involved here. So I'm going to ask the audience a question. You guys. Drop in the comments what your favorite the one favorite that you remember, something that brings back that nostalgia for you from back in the 80s or 90s, even the 70s is fine. That Christmas special cartoon that you just pops in your head as soon as you hear Christmas in the good old days. Okay. And Matt, I want to let you take the lead on this. Give me some Christmas shows or TV episodes, television shows, or cartoons that you really loved, and I'll share mine.
Yeah, I kind of did like a top 5 just because I just wanted to bring it down a little bit. So my number 5, it came out in 1995. Animaniacs were like a huge thing for me at that time. I loved it. It was kind of an edgy show, you know. But Pinky and the Brain, they came out with a Christmas Wish,
Pinky,
and it was a big deal. And I remember even hearing later on, like the actors that did the scene at the end. It was a really emotional scene. They even cried doing the voices of the Pinky and the Brain. But so that one stood out. That would be my top 5. It stood out.
I love it. Pinky and the Brain is a show that I watched all the time. Animaniacs as well.
Yep.
I think I watched some Dexter's Laboratory. And shows. I mean, those are big shows in the 90s.
Yeah.
And Batman the Animated Series, those kind of things, you know.
Huge.
And I gotta say, Cindy says Narf. Ren and Stimpy Christmas. Johnny St. Dennis said Ren and Stimpy. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Lisa Meta Thriver. We've got Jim Henson's The Christmas Toy, outstanding Retro Boys. Home Alone and Frosty the Snowman. Yogi's First Christmas by Skyman Blue. By the way, Skyman Blue, I just want to throw a shout out. If you guys love photography and you love films, you need to follow that dude. He is awesome. Skyman Blue goes to like actual like shooting locations and takes photos. And then compares them to the actual movie. So check him out. He's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see here. Okay. And then all right, let me share mine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here are mine. I'm going to share the shows first, and then I'm going to share the cartoons. Okay. So Christmas is Pee-wee's Playhouse, right? Christmas special. I absolutely love that. In fact, I pulled it out here, and I wanted to show it to everybody. It says Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special. That's what it looks like. Okay. Yeah. This is a classic, and I just absolutely love this. This was 1988, and it was so fun. Check out the back. Whoopi Goldberg's on here. Magic Johnson. I mean, it's got Zsa Zsa Gabor. It's got Cher. It's got Little Richard. I mean, look at the back of this thing. This is just who's who of awesomeness on here, you know. And the other Christmas special was A Christmas Dream with Emmanuel Lewis, and Mr. T was in that. And A Muppet Family Christmas. I remember a Claymation Christmas Celebration. I just posted about it.
That one,
going live. I mean, that one just brings back a lot of nostalgia for me.
I get it,
and it's kind of like it's almost like the least loved of like all of them. I barely see anything about it ever. So I feel
and that surprises me because it's very 80s. It feels very 80s. That old claymation is wonderful too.
Well, I heard about that. A special was, I guess, there was some sort of legal thing, and then that thing went to Bill Knight, which is the owner of Nike. It went to his son's company. So his son's company just kind of like shut it away. And is what I heard. Hey, Recaptured 80s is on here, man. Carrie's on here. I love that guy. And he's an OG, man. And thanks, Carrie, for joining us. Appreciate it. So I heard that it was basically put away in the vault and never to be really replayed again. So a Claymation Christmas special, you guys got to check it out if you haven't. For those of you 90s kids, maybe you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's really fun. The other one I would say is A Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those two.
Come on. I mean, Christmas time in the 80s, it was Dolly Parton. I mean, you pretty much saw her. Also, I would be remiss not to mention Highway to Heaven episode, which is basically was Michael Landon. I mean, I absolutely love that. It was called Another Song for Christmas. It was from 1984. Yeah. And then my five favorite cartoon specials. All right, here they come. A Garfield Christmas special, He-Man and She-Ra.
You like the 89 or 91 version?
The Garfield Christmas special, I like the, I think it's the 87.
87, that's right. It is 87.
87, I like the 87 version.
Yeah.
And then I also like a Chipmunk Christmas. That brings me back. That brings back some nostalgia.
Yeah.
I like the Smurfs Christmas special. And then I'm going to give you guys one that I don't think a lot of people have seen. Okay, now tell me if you've seen this. All right, you guys know, if you keep up on my page, you guys know how much I love Ghostbusters. Okay, especially the real Ghostbusters. And to me, that is one of the most underrated 80s cartoons ever. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite Christmas special cartoons was it's a real Ghostbusters, and it's called Xmas Christmas Marks the Spot. Okay. Yeah. And the Ghostbusters, they travel back in time to England, and they actually help Ebenezer Scrooge capture the ghosts of Christmas past and all that. And so and so it's craziness. I just absolutely love it. And for those of you that don't know, in the audience, if you go to YouTube, Ghostbusters actually has their own YouTube channel, and every week on Saturday morning they release a new Real Ghostbusters episode. So how awesome is that? You know,
that's amazing.
Mean?
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Amazing.
And
that cartoon, it is so underrated. I don't know why nobody talks about it, because it is so good. And the people that love it, you remember running to the TV. You know, every time it aired, you had to
absolutely.
To the TV. Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, Joshua just joined us from Oh I Had That. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome account there too. Hey. All right. So speaking of Ghostbusters, I got to tell you, I got something in the mail. I knew I'm going to do a mail call at the end, but I got something from AMC, which I'm going to open up this week. Okay. It's Ghostbusters related. So stay tuned. Okay. It's so awesome. I'm super pumped. And then I want to share this. I'm going to give you a hint. It's got something to do with this. Okay. Check it out. All right. So it's got to do with popcorn. Okay. So, all right. So you shared your favorite 80s tunes with us. Now I kept the Charlie Brown Christmas, which is an absolute classic, and the Rankin Bass stuff like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, absolute classics, must watch every year. I kept them out just because they're 60s, 70s, early 70s, that kind of thing. So I wanted to be fair, since we're talking about 80s, 90s.
Yeah, but those are must watch. Like you have to watch those every Christmas.
100%. And they're on TV now, so you can actually you flip the TV on and they're there. Hey, everybody that's joining us newly here, I just want to reset again. I've got StaticRerun Matt here. We're talking about Christmas specials and just nostalgia from the good old days. So thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you check his page out at StaticRerun. We're going to do the giveaway in just a little bit. We still got a few more things to talk about. All right. So let's talk about the 3 must-watch movies during Christmas. All right. I asked you to pull out some VHS tapes and share that with folks. So let's see. I'll let you go first.
So I would say, Home Alone 1 is an absolute watch for me. Like the second one, it's more cinematic. It's like, it probably is the better movie, but this feels so much more Christmassy to me. Yeah. And it was like one of the first movies I watched in the theater. So it has a really special place in my heart. And I like to do these little custom ones. So I put all my Christmas tapes in a red case.
Rad. I love it.
Yeah. So that's my number one, or that's one of the ones. Also Jingle All the Way. That's
I was watching that.
A big
watching
90s
that last
Christmas.
night. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one, I actually did like a custom white tape for it.
Oh, rad, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
So my most treasured one.
It's a Wonderful Life. Lisa says it's a Wonderful Life. Sorry to interrupt you. That's a great one. That's an absolute
It's an amazing movie. That's one of my favorites. That's one I have to watch on TV every year.
Absolutely.
But so every Christmas Eve I would watch A Christmas Carol by Alistair Sim, or with Alistair Sim. Yeah. With my dad every Christmas Eve, and then he passed like 6 years ago, so I continue the tradition. But
I love
Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim.
I love it.
It's nothing better than that.
You know what's crazy about that is one of our friends here, Rising MU, she posted it. Kathleen, she posted something on that the other day on her feed as well, and that's just a great classic. Absolutely. Yeah. The other one is another absolute for me on TV is A Christmas Story. Yeah, as well. It's one of my films as well.
I told you my grandma went to school with the guy that wrote that whole story. The Christmas story. Yeah.
You did? Okay, maybe.
I think I messaged you or something. It was a while.
Maybe I forgot about that. Sorry, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
No, yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was always a big deal in my family, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I grew up in Detroit. I could have gone if my parents were aware and they were what I like to call 80s aware. they would have taken us out to Ohio to go check out the house, right?
Right.
But the only thing we did in Ohio, well, we did two things. My dad and I, we went to go fishing in Toledo, and then we went to Woolworths in Ohio during Christmas time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are your films. I'm going to share a few of mine. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the I wanted to kind of go out on the edge a little bit and kind of share films that maybe a couple films that aren't normally perceived necessarily all talked about a lot about Christmas. There's always debate or whatever, but one of the first ones I wanted to share was Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is the UK version, or the UK edition. This is actually from inside of a display from one of the video stores in the UK.
Man, it's not fair how good those look.
Yeah, I know. The UK does VHS way better.
And that white tab.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the stickers are just phenomenal.
Amazing.
You know?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And so anyway, so that Lethal Weapon, I think it absolutely. And if there's any debate, Lethal Weapon is absolutely a Christmas movie.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, it starts with a Christmas song.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Let's see. Christy Love 67 says Die Hard. 100%.
Yep.
Die Hard is in there. It's a must watch for me. Actually, Die Hard and Die Hard 2.
Yep.
You know. So. All right. The other film we talked about was A Christmas Story, and this is my original sealed version of that film. So this is a sealed copy
That's awesome.
of A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
So this is it's going to remain sealed. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I'm actually not into like grading things very much. I like to keep things loose.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of those ones that I'm probably just going to send for grading.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So if you end up seeing me getting a Castle Grayskull sealed, if you see that I've got the Thundercats lair sealed, if you see that I've got like all of my dream stuff sealed, it means that I sold this after getting it graded. So, all right. The other film is a must watch for me. Is Gremlins. I love watching this during the holiday season, just because I feel like it's the quintessential story of giving a gift to someone, and then maybe you've given them the wrong gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe you want to return that gift.
Yeah, exactly. And I was joking to my son, and I said, you know what he's like, what could be a wrong gift, Dad? I was like, well, giving you a damn iPhone too early could be a wrong gift, right? So
100%.
Yeah. So which he doesn't have yet, by the way. I'm holding off from giving my kid an iPhone until he's at least 14 years old. All right, even though he begs me for one every day.
He can talk on a brick for a while. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, and the last film that I think no one really thinks about watching during December, but I like to do it because I feel like, first of all, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. I'm a huge Kurt Russell fan, and I just love this film. And it has snow in it. It's in Antarctica. I feel like it's Christmassy. All right, and I watch The Thing. All right. and plus, I'm just getting over Halloween time, so it's like, I want to watch something.
Honestly, that I watched that just after Halloween, like before Christmas really starts, because it gets me in like, all right, I'm in the winter mood, and
no, for sure, and I just love it. You know what's crazy about The Thing? I'm making sure I'm tracking time right. What's crazy about The Thing is everyone hated this movie when it came out. No one liked it. Siskel and Ebert didn't like it. Roger Ebert didn't like it. The Times, the Post hated it, and then they didn't realize how much work went into making this thing. And now today, like everybody feels like this is one of the greatest movies of all time.
It is.
So anyway, if you're watching this and we're talking Christmas, just so you know, there's snow in this movie. Watch it during Christmas time. It's good. All right. Don't let the kids see it yet. Unless they're 14 or over. Yeah. All right, so that's my list, man. Thanks for sharing yours, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're going to sort of wrap things up and sort of bring things back. Okay. So what is like one thing that you bought this year, or that you experienced this year in 2021, that basically brings back all the nostalgia for you? When you look at it, like in your room, you know what I mean? Like what is that?
So it was like Christmas of '93, I believe. And for whatever reason, and this is the dumbest gift. I mean, it's kind of stupid, but it was so important to me. I think it's because I was able to share it with my cousin, who was my best friend. He's still my best friend, but he was my best friend at that time too. And I was able to get him one just like this. And so my favorite thing I bought, and it ties towards Christmas too, is this Cyclops pillow. And it's, you know, it still has a tag on it. And this took so long, probably 5 years for me to find it in like really good condition at a good price, you know. So it's silly, but this.
No, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Here, put it up one more time. Put it up one more time. That's rad, man. Hey,
so
so
double-sided too, you know.
Yeah, so that Cyclops is from the 90s X-Men, which is to me one of the top shows of the 90s cartoons. And it was every episode was like brilliantly written. There was drama, there was just enough tension in the episodes, there was just enough maturity for young kids. But there was plenty of it for like older kids, you know. I was watching it when I was like 14 years old or something.
Right.
So let's see. Rocco the Great says Matt is the best. Yeah, he is.
Love Rocco.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a good buddy. Yeah.
And man, I love that series. I got to tell you, that show, including Batman the Animated Series, were just two, I think, you know, watershed cartoon things that happened in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, X-Men was my favorite. The animated series was very, very big deal in my life at that time.
So awesome. So I still have a ton of the cards sitting in my boxes. Yeah. So that's awesome. And all right, let me show you mine. All right, you care to see mine? All right. So this is something I got this year that brings instant nostalgia to me every time I walk into my office. And my office is where I do my work, but also where I put all of my 80s stuff typically. And then I have another area in the house. It's a studio where I put all of my old cereal boxes and old, like, all the things that I get from, like, promos and things like that. It's like sort of like a trophy room. Yeah. But this is the thing that stands out to me the most. And I got it, and I got a guy to thank for it. I've got a cartoon dealer that is my cartoon dealer. I'm going to mention him in just a minute. Or my toy dealer, I'm sorry. But this is my Thunder Tank in original box, okay? Yeah. And this toy is like, I just remembered seeing it at like Toys R Us. Dude, yes. And just like drooling over it when I was a kid. And like you know, I grew up really, really poor. We grew up super poor. We're, you know, first generation immigrants. Came in and my dad had was like $25,000 in debt already when we came to the U.S. So it was like I wasn't getting this stuff like the Voltron. Everybody was getting like the real, like the die-cast Voltron. You know what I got? My dad went to a flea market and got me a rubber Voltron. Yeah. All right. Like it's a fake, like a faker. You know what I mean? And so for me today to be able to get this is just such a blessing. I thank God for that. Yeah. You know, to be in the position to be able to do that. And then also my kid, you know, I have 4 sons, so they get to see, and I get to, everything has a story, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. But I do want to give a shout out to my buddy, Kevin. He's at Caveman Toys. You guys can find him, Caveman, Kavemann Toys. Please take a look at his page. The guy travels the country doing the toy circuit, but I want to spend my money with friends of mine on here. So if you're gonna buy toys and you want some you know, nostalgic stuff, look him up. He'll hook you up. Hey, VHS Toys just joined. What's up, Mars? How you doing, buddy? Man? I shouted you out earlier, just so you know. All right, I did it. All right.
John, can I share one more thing too? Yeah. It's kind of piggybacks off yours, but I had the same feeling about those toys. My parents couldn't afford a $40, $50 toy. You know, there was 4 of us; they just couldn't. So this was my holy grail as a kid. Wow. And I remember just being at Toys R Us or KB Toys and just staring at this package. Yeah. And someone actually said one day, like, "Oh, you could sell that for a lot of money." And honestly, I would rather keep this box than what's in the box. You know what I mean? Because this meant so much to me. I would always stare at it and just in awe. I wanted it so bad. Man. So this is another big one. When I look at that, I think of when I was a kid, and you know, and all the hard work my parents put into life, you know what I mean? 100%. Like to just 100%. Give me what I had. So
yeah, I love that story, and those kind of stories are really what also I think make those time periods so precious to us, because we struggled, and today we look back and we go, despite struggling, despite the hardships, despite what we were going through, we just had an amazing way of getting through life. By appreciating what we had and what was around us. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're the reason I have those good memories. You know, I mean, my parents are they're the only reason I had those good memories. So, absolutely. You know, I cherish those memories and I cherish them, you know.
I love that. I love hearing that. Hey, D Blake makes D Blake makes bought a badge. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
He's a good guy. He
Mars,
does some really cool display plaques. He 3D prints them and paints them. So if you get a chance, go check him out.
I gotta check him out. I'll check you out,
Yeah.
D Blakes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And really, that's not the purpose of the show, guys. Not the badges, but it's just there. You know,
Yeah.
Instagram allows us to have them up. So thank you so much, Mars. Thank you. And you know, on that note, Matt, I think also I want to say, when we see these, I think part of our, because our childhood was just so unique, growing up during that period of time. My wife sometimes, originally when we first, I started to really start recollecting my stuff, she's like, how does that bring back the memories? And the thing is like, I feel like we're sort of saving history for not only for us, but we're saving it for our children. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And because these are not easy to find anymore. They're and for me, it's like when I walk into the room and I see this, it just says, okay, you know what? Maybe my dad couldn't buy it for me, but my dad and I had that experience where I wanted it and my dad wanted to get it for me. And now I could get it. And I showed it to my dad, and my dad was just like blown away at some of the stuff I have. And he's like, I think I remember going to that when you kept bothering me about it and kept asking me about it. But you know what's funny is one of my biggest memories, and my next purchase, my next sort of like purchase is not even like it's not like a huge deal, to be honest with you, but it's Tomax and Zaymont of G.I. Joe, and in a card. I want to try to find those because those are the first G.I. Joes my dad bought me. And I just haven't had that. I'm trying to collect things at like one at a time because you got a budget for it. You know? And but I just love those things, man. I love it. Thanks for sharing yours with me and your story. Okay. So let's talk about the giveaway, man. We're gonna give away some stuff. Okay. So for those of you that are still on here, you guys, here's what the winners are gonna get. So there's a Back to the Future Super 7 Marty McFly, and this is the Marty McFly from the original film. So there's a lot of different kinds, obviously, but you guys can get those yourself. All right. If you won this from me, you can go pick up the other ones. All right. And let's see what some of the folks are saying. Definitely the Sears catalog. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And the second winner is going to get the new retro Trapper Keeper from Mead. Okay. And I just love this. Sometimes I'll just sit around at my desk and I have a bunch of these, and I just go,
I have that exact one. I love it. Yeah.
You know what? I want to make this my voicemail. Like as soon as somebody picks up and my voicemail picks up, and it goes, just like that. All right. I thought of it first. All right. And then Matt, show everybody what you're giving away.
Yeah. So we have a NECA Muckman. Turtles were a big deal to me. That was like a really important collecting. So yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome, man. What a gift that is! What a giveaway. Somebody's gonna be very, very happy this Christmas time. Okay, so here's what I did. I actually ran it through one of those wheel randomizers. I have 3 winners, but I didn't know if you wanted me to just call them out and then tell them what they want. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So the way,
and with my prize, just hit me up in the DMs. You know, I can.
You got it, buddy. Thank you very much. And all right, everybody. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and call out the names that won it was a random app spin process. You guys have seen those. And I put them down here on my notes. And I want to say the way that you could have won this was if you just went to my post, to my link, like I posted yesterday, and you join my newsletter. So make sure you go to that80sdude.com and / I think it's subscribe, or just go to that80sdude.com and put in your stuff in the newsletter. You guys are going to be entered in automatically every time we do a giveaway. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway a lot more often in 2022, okay? Not just on the show. All right, so here are the winners, all right? So let's see if they're on here. If you're on here and you won, make sure you give us like a couple thumbs up, okay? Or like give me like an emoji, like a money emoji or something like that, or a post office box emoji.
Yeah.
All right, so the winner of the first item, okay? So here's the way I did it. I picked a winner, I picked an item, and then I picked a winner, okay? So I hope you're getting what you want, okay? So the first winner is Timothy. His Instagram profile is 80s Flick Flashback. 80s Flick Flashback. And you, dude, won this Marty McFly. So if you're on here, give me a little thumbs up or whatever, but I have your information. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the details over to you, and I'll package up real sweet, just like I like receiving them, okay? Not like Amazon sends them. Not like Amazon sends them. Like I send them, okay? So it will arrive in very good shape. All right, so congratulations to
congrats,
Timothy.
Tim.
Yeah. All right. The second winner that I pulled out, and this is for the Mead Trapper Keeper, okay? By the way, I want to open this up. I want to show this off here. This is pretty sweet, man. Look at this. This comes with all these folders.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta take this out. This is like this still has a thing on it, but I did the commercial that I did for Mead, and I put Trapper Keeper for life on here. So this is mine. You're not getting this, okay? That's from one of my original Trapper Keepers.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so the winner for this is actually I saw her on the show. It's Kathleen, which is Rising Emu. Rising EMU. Kathleen, congratulations.
Congratulations, Kathleen.
Send you something, and thank you for all the she's one of my favorites. She's always commenting. She's so engaged. I love it. Thank you so much,
awesome.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
All right. The winner of repeat what your gift is?
Yeah. It's this NECA Muckman.
NECA Muckman. All right. So from TMNT, this is an awesome gift, and the winner of this is 8-bit Boba Fett. 8-bit Boba Fett. Now, I looked him up because I asked for everybody's Instagram ID. Yeah. And this dude is actually a toy collector. Like he kind of lucked out. Yeah. This is who it should have gone to. And he does some really cool stuff. So anyway, I'll send you a message. I'll link you both up and all that. And yes, thank you, Cindy. Congrats to the winners for sure. It's 6:25 right now PST, which means we've got a few more minutes, and we got to wrap up the show. So here's what I want to do, Matt. I want you to stay on until we finally say bye. Yeah. But I want to ask you this, sort of like wrap things up with you. What do you have going on coming next year? Do you have anything that you're going to be doing unique to your page? Is there anything that you want to share with the audience right now, where they can find you, or things that you want them to do? Yeah. So you can find me, here on Instagram. That's where I do most of my posting. I just recently started a Twitter. I do TikTok when I do the videos. I'm terrible at making videos, so you can find me at TikTok. Cool. Pinterest is another one. I don't know if Rocco actually gave me this idea. When people Google stuff, Pinterest has a really good deal with Google, so that your pictures will come up. So if you do postings, like anything like that, like I would post them to Pinterest. That's a great idea. You just taught me something. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So I think I have a Pinterest, but I might be hitting that up. Yeah. So that's another way to get yourself out there. But you can find me at all those places at StaticRerun. I would say my ultimate goal for this coming year, I've already kind of started the ball rolling, but I want to do a coffee table book. So I post on my coffee table. I want to make I started creating the pages and everything now. I want to do a coffee table book. I need to get my website launched. And I want to get some merch out there. I haven't done that yet. Yeah. But I feel like I'm still a little fresh on this game. So sure. Yeah. But those are my goals for next year. That's a good idea. Those are awesome ideas. I love that you shared those with us. So that's fantastic. And I think a coffee table book with your work is absolutely a must for sure. Yeah. And I was going to do a calendar, but once again, Rocco is always pushing me. That guy is like always on my butt, always lighting a fire under it. Good. So he pushed me towards the book. So I think that's what we're going to do. Yep. Well, I will make sure I purchase your book, buddy. Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I want to say a couple last things from my end. First of all, thank you to you, Matt, for doing what you do and for being on the show tonight. I'm sure I'll have you on again next year. This is the last show of the year. Yeah. And I wanted to do it with somebody whose page I admire. Yeah, I appreciate it. Absolutely. And I want to say that if you're on here right now, guys, please do me a favor, get on my newsletter, because that is a place where I can actually communicate with you in a much more longer form than I can on Instagram. Yeah. So please go to my website, that80sdude.com. Also, I'm on YouTube. I'm actually doing quite a few big long form videos soon with some sponsors, with some partners. So please find me on YouTube at that 80s dude. You can just go to my website and all my social links are there. Yeah. I want to just say thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for the love, for the DMs. So I want to say thank you for being here tonight and listening to two older dudes talk about nostalgia and the good old days, because we sure love them and we sure need them. God bless everybody. We love you, and please, I'll let you guys know when we're going to do our next one. Okay,
Yeah.
so probably be sometime in January. All right.
Yeah.
Maddie, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
Stay rad, everybody. Thanks, man. I'll chat with you later on. All right, bud.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Bye bye.